the air since 1977. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Welcome, everyone. It is Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. My name is Brian Craig. Do you notice when you're listening to the news, every time they say Trump and indictment in a sentence, they're all energized? An indictment in one, an indictment. I was listening to the news at the top. They were so energized every time they said indictment. My goodness. But they're not alone. It's all the news. Well, we got a lot of great news to share, a lot to discuss today. This morning, I watched. It was tough to watch. This was tough to watch. I really, took one for the team here. I watched the Bret Baier interview with Ron DeSantis this morning in its entirety. And man, what a mistake that was to do. In the morning, I get up really early. I have way too much coffee, espresso. If I told you how much espresso I have every morning before the end of this program, you would think I was suicidal, okay? And I know I have a lot of it. But the whole purpose of that is to wake up, be energized, so when I come on the air, I'm awake. Who wants to listen to, right? Watching Bret Baier interview Ron DeSantis about put me back to sleep, and that is no exaggeration. It was difficult to get through. It was, and I was kind of dozing. Thankfully, I didn't listen to it in the car driving here this morning. I was just sitting in my living room watching it on my television. No, I did not watch it on Fox News. I watched a recording of it on my TV on YouTube. The Fox News exodus is strong, and I live in a Fox-free home. But man, was that terminally boring. Ron DeSantis's career is over. I've been saying for months, he is unelectable forever. He is so unpopular here in the state of Florida. I don't even know when the last time he was here. Every time I see him is in New Hampshire, Iowa, or South Carolina. I haven't seen him in Florida in a long time on anything. The people of Florida that elected him, I think, mostly feel like I do, betrayed by this fake MAGA snake. But Bret Baier, he didn't mean to do it, but Bret Baier has ended Ron DeSantis's career. Ron DeSantis did two big interviews in the last few days, right? Last night was Bret Baier, and then on Friday was Megyn Kelly. And I watched the Megyn Kelly interview too. Now, I know that Ron and his wife, Casey, probably think he hit a home run, and they're very, think they did a great job. President Trump has changed the expectation that the American people have for our politicians. When I watched both of these interviews with Ron DeSantis, the Megyn Kelly interview and the Bret Baier interview, it was like watching an interview out of the 80s or the 90s, a cookie-cutter establishment politician telling you what all the problems are, which we all know, but I don't hear any solutions, and I don't see a lot of action. With President Trump changed the expectations of the voters in that President Trump got results. So now people don't want to hear a bunch of rhetoric, a bunch of gobbledygook. They just want to say, hey, here's the problem, I'm going to fix it. And then it gets done. We have an expectation of accomplishment. And having some guy, because he's got an R next to his name, say some things, doesn't get us jazzed up. And he's pulling this racket. See, he hates us, Ron DeSantis. He hates us. Okay? He hates us, MAGA. And, he's in with the Paul Ryan Bush family and all that. He hates us. And he is running a campaign being advised by never-Trumper snakes from the 90s who were running a very dated campaign. Okay? And, a lot of times, every once in a while, I'll watch something from long ago. I'll watch like a 90s movie and I'll realize, wow, why were all our clothes so baggy and things like this? It's so out of date. Can't believe how dated things are in the 90s when you go back and watch them, right? Well, that's what the DeSantis campaign is about, because Ron DeSantis and these Bush family operatives and Karl Roves, they hate MAGA, and they're running a campaign trying to attract MAGA voters to DeSantis. So what happens is he's running a campaign doing all of these shout-outs to a stereotype that these never-Trumpers think that exists. Okay? Did you hear the latest? Ron DeSantis, he's going to come back to Florida to debate Kamala on this race thing. See, people that hate us think we're racist, which is stupid. We're the furthest thing from racist in the MAGA movement, but they think we're racist. So they got Ron DeSantis saying all these stupid things about this African-American educational program in Florida. Oh yeah, all those MAGA racists married to their cousins, like that guy on right side with no teeth saying stupid stuff over the weekend. Oh yeah, if we say some racist things, they'll be on the DeSantis train. Please. What an empty blue suit. Just an empty suit of nothingness, just vacuous. And, you know, when I watched the interview this morning, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that it started to put me to sleep listening to Ron DeSantis be interviewed by Bret Baier. It wasn't Bret Baier's fault. Not that he's a good guy. He's a never-Trumper jerk too, but Ron DeSantis just isn't interesting, just isn't exciting. And what I was going to do is I watched the whole interview, and I was like, you know what, I'll write down the times that some key moments in this interview happened, and I'll play some sound bites on the air. The interview was so vacuous that it's not even sound biteable. He said so little that I could not pull one sound bite of Ron DeSantis in that interview that would be interesting for you to hear. That's how bad he is. And, you know, here's what they don't understand. There is only one candidate in the Republican Party. His name is Donald John Trump. President Trump, okay, all this stuff, oh yeah, people don't want to talk about indictment. We're living in a Marxist police state run by a senile old coot gangster who takes bribes, okay? His name's Joe Biden. Our government is run by corrupt authorities in the Justice Department that are doing everything. They're worse than J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover, all the things he did was in private. They're doing it in the open now. They have turned President Trump into a political prisoner. President Trump posted on Truth he's expecting an indictment from that weirdo Smith any moment in the J6 BS that they're pulling. You know, they've turned him into a political prisoner. And really what President Trump is representative of a lot of things. He is a Martin Luther King-like figure, Donald Trump. He's a Martin Luther King-like figure in that he's leading a civil rights movement to make America great again and take our country back from China and that gangster Zelensky who thinks that they're the 51st state and we should just pay for it, for everything. Do you know that we're giving Ukraine $1 billion a month, not for the military, we're doing all that too, to pay for their government salaries, their post office, their road maintenance, their water, their free health care, their version of Social Security, their government pensions, all that stuff. That's right. It's crazy. It's insane. Why? Because Biden got paid, and a whole bunch of other people too, I'm sure. So President Trump is a Martin Luther King-like civil rights figure leading the American people of all skin colors to freedom from China that's bought off our politicians, the military-industrial complex, the donor class as a whole, these gangsters in D.C. that are out of it having comas. I mean, my goodness, McConnell had a stroke on TV. Dianne Feinstein doesn't know where she is, and she's going to, in her pants. And then we got Biden, who, when he's not taking bribes or sniffing the hair of women, gets lost when he walks down the stairs of Air Force One, and they got him going in the door where they send the luggage in because he can't even walk up the stairs. And the guy takes bribes, by the way. They found cocaine at the White House, and Trump's getting indicted. He's also not just a Martin Luther King-like figure leading us to freedom from the oppression of all these gangsters that are running our country. He's become a Nelson Mandela-like figure in that he's a political prisoner. Now, Nelson Mandela, you know, there's a lot of faults around that whole movement, but the political establishment of South Africa put Mandela in prison because he was a political threat. And that's what they're doing to President Trump. We're going to take our first break. I'll talk more about this. And I know a lot of you probably didn't catch the Bret Baier interview with Ron DeSantis because you've gone Fox free too. But if you have or seen some of the clips, I'd certainly like to hear your thoughts on everything I brought up so far. Our number's toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon here with a question. How would you like
It's insanity.
doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. I wish we had them for everyone, but the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to call 833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera.
Hey guys, make sure you share this show on your Twitter today. You know, Bret Baier, believe it or not, is trending on Twitter, and that means the sanctimonious and his team of evil doers, fake MAGA, never Trumpers will be monitoring Twitter. I'd love those snakes to hear what I'm saying about this traitor DeSantis today. So tweet this show and put the hashtag Bret Baier in there. And I'm serious, that interview put me to sleep. I fell asleep on the couch. Falling asleep drinking espresso is not an easy thing to do. It was like hypnosis. Yeah, fake MAGA. Could have been worse. He could have stayed below the radar, and we would have found out in 2028 after he got elected. So we got to thank him for that, at least. It's always going to be Twitter. Give me a break. Twitter will always be Twitter. I don't know what Elon Musk is thinking. Yep. Yeah. No, we're a serious country. We're just run by outlaws right now. I mean, it's like the wild, wild west. It's outrageous.
Hey, how you doing? It's Uncle Eddie from Uncle Eddie's Restaurant Day. Listen up, all the locals out there. It's time for a deal. Half price entrees. Yep, you heard me right. 50% off all dinners from 4 to 6 Wednesday to Sunday, and 20% off the whole entire menu to go, including the best thin crust pizza in town. Forget about it. Where else are you gonna get delicious beef ravioli, linguine clam sauce, lasagna, pork chops? Nowhere. My prices are insane. Stop going to those spaghetti joints. You're not gonna find great food and entertainment like at Uncle Eddie's. Where else are you gonna go and have the owners sing for you? Come down to Uncle Eddie's. 4050 U.S. sponsors north of Donald Ross Road. 561-508-7799. Hurry up in.
Well, thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. Glad you like the podcast.
You have bone on bone or need a knee replacement? Have you been told that you have osteoarthritis? Well, then come see us at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have non-surgical solutions that include rehab and injections that can prevent you from having to have surgery or prolong the surgery. We've been in practice for 75 years in South Florida.
If you, on last night's podcast, you hear a lot of thunder. It was really thundering and lightning last night.
754-222.
It was much louder than you hear on the podcast because I have directional mics and takes background noise out, but
In Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All righty, welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold. Stand by. We're talking about, of course, the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, and Bret Baier just really doing what will the interview that is the beginning of the very end of the Ron DeSantis campaign. But first, I want to invite you all, except Liberal Al, on our 5th annual listener cruise. You know, we started these cruises a few years back so I could get a vacation. And yeah, that's true. And it's just become such a great thing that I look forward to, my daughter looks forward to, and I know a lot of you do. And we have this great MAGA family of listeners that gets larger and larger every time we have a cruise. This cruise is the largest group we have had. In fact, it is so large, we're bringing help on this one so that we can keep everything coordinated. I was so fried on the last one. I was up for like 5 days on the last cruise. I got like no sleep. It was that was a big group. This one is our biggest group by far. We're leaving April 27th out of Fort Lauderdale on the Celebrity Beyond, which is the flagship of Celebrity Cruise Lines. It's their newest ship. We're going to the ABC Islands, which I'm really looking forward to this. There was an episode of The Love Boat where they went to the ABC Islands. They're beautiful, and I'll do them in reverse. Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. I've always wanted to go to all of these, especially Aruba. We have shore excursions at every port of call for our group. At one of the stops, we have 2 shore excursions. And, of course, I'll go along with you on all the excursions. We have dinner together every night, shipboard activities all week long together. And we party like it's 1999. We just have a great time. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and make your reservation, all right? It's 561-244-5779. Those of you that have already made reservations, call and make sure you're up to speed on the excursions and the changes. Originally, this was going to be on the Celebrity Reflection, and I knew that they were going to switch us to the new ship back then. I was about 85% sure. I'd talked to someone at the cruise line, and that's why we picked that ship, because we wanted to be on the Beyond, which is the newest ship. I only knew about 85%, so, but we're on it now, the newest ship in the Celebrity fleet. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
I listened to your monologue. I agree with you on about 50%. If you take a look at DeSantis, before he announced he was at 22%. Now he's down to 17%. President Trump has gone up. What has happened, and who is the best? Who is the best? In other words, Trump doesn't have to spend a nickel on his campaign. Who's his best ally out there right now?
Who's Trump's?
And it's not you. It's not me. Who is it?
I don't know who.
It's the media and the Democratic Party who have put him on a pedestal, like you said. He's a Mandela candidate now. They have put him so high. People see the railroad job, the overreach of the Democratic Party, the fake, everything they do is fake. They see what's going on with the President of the United States, and they can see the two-tier justice system.
Listen, here you got Joe Biden takes bribes. They got this money laundering operation going through Hunter's artwork. Everybody knows the artwork is a money laundering operation, but Trump's getting arrested? I mean, these people are out of their minds.
He's getting arrested for having a disagreement with the archives.
Yeah, with librarians.
Librarians. This is and the people see it, and let the news keep on reporting it. When they give Trump 15 minutes every night and they give Biden 2, I mean, this is great for Trump. He doesn't have to spend a dime. Just sit there and let them.
You know, I bought a book off of eBay, or not eBay, Amazon, like a used book off Amazon, And so it was a library book that was checked out in 1978. I'm not kidding. Maybe can you get indicted for that? Because we got librarians going. Listen, this is the deal. There's only one man who can do any of these things. Ron DeSantis, who by the way looks so weird with all that weight loss. He should have stayed fat. But I watched that vacuous, empty interview last night. I watched the vacuous interview with Megyn Kelly. He's got nothing. And really the reason he's run... Okay, what's he got?
Okay, when the buildings collapsed in Miami, he talked every day directly to the people. When they had the hurricane over in the West Coast, he talked every day to the people. He has no political instincts. The other day, he spoke in front of people off of the cue cards, and he kept on looking down. He doesn't look at the people. He can't connect because he's like robotic. That's the biggest problem he's got. It's not that he doesn't have a personality, but he doesn't have...
Well, see, Ron DeSantis is running for office to set him and his family up. You know, I mean, he's not a wealthy man. Well, he made $1.25 million off the book. That's pretty good. But he's not a wealthy man. His wife is not wealthy. And that's dangerous in a politician. One of the great things about President Trump and people that he surrounded himself with, like Mnuchin, I call them the untouchables. They're so rich they can't be bought. You know, people like DeSantis, they have expensive taste. You know, Casey DeSantis, they got she doesn't want, they got expensive taste, and that's how you end up with Biden.
Yeah, so the bottom line is, once again, this is great times. You always say these are great times. They really are. Because if you just keep, every time they pound Trump, his poll numbers go up, and they don't know what to do about it. And you have your rhino Republicans, they're doing the same thing. They're in bed with these people, and they're hoping Trump goes to jail. And that's the senators, like crickets. The Republican senators, unbelievable. They won't open their mouth.
Yeah, including Tim Scott. Just because someone's black and a Republican doesn't mean they're a good guy. He has not stood up for Trump against these things.
Trump will be the nominee. Trump will win this election because the people of this country have seen the truth. The truth is out there, and the overreach is out there.
I mean, if you want it, yeah, that's right. Anyone else becomes president, we're back in the matrix of the police state. The only person that's going to lead us away from this police state is Donald Trump. Hey, Richie, I got to run. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour and come back. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. Richie said he agreed with 50% of what I said. I think he agreed with everything. He just doesn't want to sound agreeable. I think we're on the same page. All right, it's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. I'm Brian. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the Oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. On this Tuesday, August the 1st, it's going to feel like it. We have a heat advisory up for the Treasure Coast until 5 o'clock tonight. We'll see in Palm Beach County hot temperatures as well. Highs in the low 90s, triple-digit heat in the seas, and a chance of afternoon storms. I'm WPBS 25 First Morning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Oh, goodness. I need a week off now. I wish our cruise was this week. Trump's beating Haley in South Carolina. She was the governor. Trump's beating DeSantis in Florida. He's the sitting governor. Give me a break. Bret Baier didn't bring that up. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of crap I'm talking about, these people. I tell you. Yeah, I'm pretty wiped out. I'm very tired today. I've not been on the air since '77. The show's been on with Steve. I've been on the air, on the air since '91 or '90. '90.
Suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Darren Lestovsky, DC, owner of Pivotal Health and Wellness. Dr. Lestovsky, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage.
I can't remember if it's like 90 or 91. I think 90
The major symptoms are
is when I started on the air.
late
Late 90.
hands or feet and problems with balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It is treatable, and we have seen
Does Steve allow me 2 to 3 weeks vacation? How much vacation have you seen me take other than the cruise?
Today, the first 25 callers will receive a free
I'm thinking of taking a long weekend soon to go visit my daughter in Los Angeles.
3255 561 287 3255.
The free screening is a $149 value. The patient and any other person responsible for payment has the right to refuse to pay, cancel payment for any other service, examination, or treatment that is performed as a result of any of
But if I'm going out there for the weekend, I won't adjust to the time. So I was thinking, because I'll probably be up if I go to Los Angeles over a weekend, I'll probably be up like at 2 in the morning LA time. So, and I know my daughter will be asleep, right? So I think I might take her car and maybe go to Hollywood and do a live stream from the streets of Hollywood. Would you guys want to see that? I don't know, is it safe to live stream on my phone down there? Would someone snatch my phone? I might have to vlog it. What would the streets of Hollywood be like at like 2 in the morning? Yeah, I've never been to Disneyland. I'll probably go to Disneyland. If I go for the weekend, well, I'll go to Disneyland for one day.
Hi, this is Maureen Cohen from Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens. We are so excited to be celebrating 50 years here in South Florida. The Cohen family started
I'll leave my MAGA gear here in Florida.
1972, and ever since
I don't think it's safe to wear my MAGA gear in LA.
health food stores in the area. We carry thousands of supplements like vitamins, minerals, herbs, homeopathics, diet and fitness, and so much more. All your favorite top quality brands. We also have tons of natural foods like gluten-free, paleo.
No, please. Why? Because DeSantis says don't go to Disney?
Foods and more.
Screw that.
Vanessa, Trish, Denson, Scott, and Bruce.
You know,
7 days a week for all your
we'll talk about
family's
when we get
natural
back.
health needs. So stop by Nutrition World at the northeast corner of PGA Boulevard and Prosperity Farms Road in the Carmine's Market Plaza by the Prosperity entrance. You can call us or text us anytime at 561-626-4377. That's 626-4377. Or check out our website at nutritionworld.com. Come see us 7 days a week at Nutrition World Palm Beach Gardens.
Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them. How would you like to have instant access to a healthcare advocate at the touch of a button? Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor, including a specialist. If you've been billed improperly by a hospital, they can help you with that too. They'll even be your advocates when you're in the hospital to make sure
Yeah.
you get the care you need and the care you deserve. And that's just the beginning of what they do. I Will Advocates takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues too, and they can do the same for you. I Will Advocate clients are family, and they go to bat for their family when you need them the most. Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now. Toll free.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, guys. Well, thanks for helping me grow. I'm really tired today, guys, so got 2.5 hours to go. I've been up since about 1:30 this morning, about 2.5, 3 hours sleep. All right, welcome back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, talking about this DeSantis interview with Bret Baier. You know, this is. I was reading an article today. Let me pull this up. I wasn't gonna share this article, but let me pull it up. I went to the Drudge Report, and you know, I've started going back to the Drudge Report lately. The Drudge. I don't know who's running the Drudge Report now, but it's kind of getting back to what it used to be like. And they got an article here. These people just don't get it. We got to get DeSantis indicted, says a DeSantis ally. They think he'll benefit from the prosecution. Now, they said it sarcastically, and they think that Trump is so popular because of the indictments. That's just not the case. That's just not the case. Okay, here, listen. I was talking about this on my podcast last night, which if you don't listen to my podcast, you should. The Brian Craig Show podcast has been named the number 3 must-listen-to conservative podcast in America. Number 1 is Mark Levin's podcast, which should not even count because it's a rebroadcast of his radio show, but that's fine. Number 2 is The Blaze, and number 3 is the Brian Craig Show podcast, which is available on all podcast platforms, guys. But this is what's going on with Jack Smith and Karl Rove and Bush and DeSantis and all these snakes, okay? All these snakes. This is what they believe. They're in a panic. They don't understand why is Donald Trump going up in the polls. You got to understand this. Ron DeSantis came out of the closet as a fake MAGA never Trumper when the indictment came down from New York, the Bragg Soros indictment. And what they thought is that Trump was going to go to New York, get indicted, and then we were going to jump ship. And it hasn't happened. Then he goes up in the polls. And then Ron DeSantis announces and Trump goes up further in the polls. Then they indict him in Miami, he goes up again. And yesterday, President Trump said that the indictment out of D.C. is imminent. It's going to be any day, any moment. It could happen at any time. This is what they have told themselves. When I say they, I'm talking about these never-Trumpers in the Uniparty that want to take this country back away from the people and put it in the hands of the country club Republican Uniparty. They think that the reason that we have not jumped ship and have not jumped off the Trump train is because even though he was indicted, and technically that's an arrest, there's been no mugshot, no ankle bracelets, no jail cell. And in D.C., things are a little different. When he went to New York, that was local authorities versus the federal officers with the Secret Service. Miami, well, that's an away field for the government, even though it was a federal courthouse. They indict President Trump in D.C., the deep state, the Uniparty, the never-Trumpers, the Beltway bandits up there that have sold out to China, and the military-industrial complex and the donor class. The people that, the Epstein Island crowd, they have home field advantage there. Home field advantage. Everybody in that courthouse is part of the establishment. And they think, and I'm telling you, this is what their plan is. When they have the indictment in Washington and he shows up for that, they're going to go to put him in a cell, get the mugshot, cuff him, send him home with an ankle bracelet if they let him out on bail. In fact, Breitbart had a story yesterday. They've been talking to people in Washington. See, they leak things out a lot of times, sometimes to conservative media, to get people accustomed to the idea of certain things. They are considering holding him without bail. When I say him, I'm talking about President Trump. Jack Smith and these weirdos up there in the deep state, they're thinking about holding him without bail in Washington. And then they think we'll rise up and say, no more of this Trump train. We're off. We're with DeSantis now. That's what they actually believe. You got to understand. This Trump derangement syndrome is hate. Hate. And when someone is consumed with hate, they don't see the world clearly. Hate as an emotion has the same effect on a person as hardcore intoxication. You don't see things clearly. All right? And I'm not saying they're going to be successful with that, but that's their plan. And then they got Georgia. Okay? That's their plan. And I know people say, well, the Secret Service are not going to allow it. When they're in Washington, the Secret Service that destroyed evidence in the cocaine at the White House story, right? When they're in Washington, D.C. for that indictment, That's a whole nother world. Okay? And they have home field advantage, and they've got numbers on their side. And what they do so far is holding him, putting him in a cell, and everything else is very possible when he's indicted in D.C. I'm not saying they're going to be successful, but they think that's why we have not dropped him yet. If you go back to the beginnings, they're always running a scheme that they think when this next thing happens, the Trump people are going to jump off the Trump train. It's never going to happen. We're with President Trump for life. For life. Don't you get it? You know, I've been telling people, I'm not planning, I'm too young to retire, but I've already got my retirement plan. I've told this to people many times. When I'm going to retire right here in South Florida. I'm assuming many years from now, I'm not retiring, but when I do, I've already made my retirement plans. I assume President Trump is going to build his presidential museum here in Palm Beach County. He's a resident here. I believe this is where it will be. It's a very conservative state. He's not going to put it in New York. They'll be defacing it all the time. In my retirement, I'm going to be a volunteer at Trump's presidential museum, okay? I'm not kidding. That's not a joke. The museum hasn't even been planned yet, but I've already planned what I'm going to do as an old man. I'd be the perfect tour guide. No one will know more about Trump than me that's a tour guide at the Trump Presidential Museum. I know that sounds crazy, but that's my retirement plan. So, you know, and I'm not alone in that. I'm not the only person that's with Trump for life. President Trump is a historical figure, not just because he's a president, but because of what he's woken us up to. Let me give you an example. If you're on hold, stand by, guys, but I want to get some of this stuff off my chest. I was very disappointed in Comer last night. I only have one soundbite I'm going to play today, and it's Comer. Let me see. I don't even have it queued up. Let me see here. Let's see. Yeah, this is Comer. He was on Hannity last night, and we had the big whistleblower, right? Devin Archer yesterday. Listen to this. Hannity asks Comer a question. Listen to Comer's response.
Do you believe that this is now officially the Joe Biden bribery allegation? And do you believe that you will be able to prove that, Jim Comer?
I sure hope so.
I hope so? What the heck, Comer? Comer says, I hope so. What do you mean you hope so? You got the phone records, you got the bank account information, you got the witnesses. What do you mean you hope so? Yeah, I know. Wow. What did they get to Comer? But here's the thing. Okay? Biden is not going to go to jail. He's not going to be arrested. He's not going to be charged. Okay? All that stuff's true. How? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because the American people now know what this government is. The entire government are gangsters that take bribes. They all take bribes. Why do you think Kevin McCarthy has not begun impeachment proceedings? Kamala should be impeached for what she's doing. She's allowing a senile old coot that takes bribes to remain in office who's not even mentally competent and has not invoked the 25th Amendment. She should be impeached for that. Her elder abuse. Elder abuse is a felony, and she's committing it, Kamala, by allowing this to happen. Biden should have been impeached already, at least, but more than once probably, but certainly the proceedings over this bribe stuff should have happened. And we got this California Judas of Mar-a-Lago, Kevin McCarthy, dilly-dallying around, and he's part of a cover-up. But that's okay. The American people have woken up to this. They've woken up to this. And people know. And that's a good thing. Now, we don't control the authorities. The authorities are run by gangsters too. We've got corrupt cops in the Justice Department, corrupt officials in every aspect of the government, a corrupt president, That's it. Right? I mean, that's it. They're all corrupt. But the American people know. And you know what? They're going to always know. It's like on the Wizard of Oz. He opened up the curtain. And now we know. And that's great. And that's why President Trump is so far ahead in the polls. It's not just because of the indictments. What the indictments are doing are waking people up to how bad this government really is and how corrupt they are. All right, we'll take our last break of the hour and be back.
The cold, hard truth.
Exactly.
Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Brian Craig here. I've suffered
Do you think they'll let me wear my MAGA hat when I'm a volunteer at the Trump Presidential Museum? I hope so.
Dr. Appleton, how'd you do it?
By treating the knee pain with laser, treatment is simple and no side effects. I have robotic lasers that have a
Absolutely.
effect on joint pain. These are all FDA.
How exciting would that be?
Tell the listeners what other areas you can help them in.
Any joint I can do, shoulder pain, hip pain, sciatica.
And what the heck's Comer talking about? I hope so.
Bursitis, from the foot all the way
Jerk.
to the neck.
Dr. Appleton is a chiropractic physician, and with the laser away pain system, there's no injections, no surgery, and no drugs. He's open 6 days a week, and same-day appointments are available. Call right now for your free consultation. 954
MAGA, it's our movement. Make America great again.
954-973-0710. Make sure to tell Dr. Appleton you heard about him on the radio. A sniffle here and a sneeze there. Your first thought is what? Oh, I'm coming down with something.
Good MAGA morning.
Find out and have your allergies tested at any lab test now with Coral Springs or any lab test now with Boca. Any lab test now with Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall.
Oh, yeah.
954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. They will test for both environmental and food allergies. No appointment is necessary. And make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
It's cataract surgery season. Middleman Eye Center is offering the next level experience in IV-free cataract surgery. New technology, new lenses, and a new office-based surgery experience awaits you. Contact Middleman Eye Center. Call or text 561-500-2020 or visit us on the web at middlemaneye.com.
I'm texting my wife.
Or for more information.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire.
Oh.
Thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30.
I'm so sick of this poison media and these uniparty people.
9445 954 977 9445.
We take on the social justice
Oh,
warrior
not for you.
breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
Don't you hate it when you text the wrong person? I was texting my wife during the break, and I texted Dr. Appleton because I was listening to the Dr. Appleton commercial, and we got someone coming to the house today to do some work, and I was texting my wife to call them to see what time they were coming, and I texted Dr. Appleton. That wasn't for you, Dr. Appleton, but But I was listening to Dr. Appleton's commercial during the week. You know, last week I went to Dr. Appleton for, my shoulder pain. My shoulder pain's gone. My shoulder pain's gone. It's absolutely amazing. I heard his commercial during the break, and I'll tell you, Dr. Appleton, his laser wave pain treatment works. This is the 5th time that I've been treated by Dr. Appleton. For injuries and arthritis and all these things. You've heard me go through with different parts of my bodies, different types of injuries, and it's worked every single time. and it can work for you too. Now, I'm going to give you Dr. Appleton's number so you can call him. Now, when you call Dr. Appleton's office, they will text you directions to his office right to your cell phone if you need them. Okay, so ask about that. But it's a no-charge consultation. Appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome. Okay? His number, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710, and online, AppletonCairo.com. Sorry about that text. I hope Dr. Appleton's probably up. At least I didn't send like anything romantic to my wife. It was just about the repair guy coming to the house. All right, so I'm going to go to the phones in just a moment, but I just want to say this last thing, and then we'll go to the phones, and I'll save everything else I want to share to just sprinkle in as the show goes on. There is only one candidate, and his name's Donald Trump. All these other people are either grifters, which is a con man looking to make money like Pence, someone looking to elevate themselves like DeSantis, someone trying to be relevant and a part of the conversation like Ramaswamy. These are all grifters, self-promoters, and losers and bums. Oh, and let's not forget Moby Dick. That's right. Yeah. Chris Christie, who's just he's the opposite. He's not Captain Ahab. He's Moby Dick. Just because of his size. But you know what I mean. I mean, he's just he's also unelectable like Ron DeSantis, so I guess this is how he ekes out a living. How much, let me ask you this question about, well, let me take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Marty from Oakland Park. I met you on Saturday at Dr. Appleton's.
Oh, hey, Marty. I remember. Yes. How are you, Marty?
Great. I just wanted to call to give a quick shout out for Dr. Appleton, if it's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I went there a week ago, and I've had a problem.
Hey, Marty. We've got a very bad cell phone connection with you. I can only hear like every other syllable of the word. Let's see. Let's see here. Try again, and let's see. If not, you have to call back another time.
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay. Well, I went in last week and found out that I had a sciatic nerve problem. I'm in construction. I do concrete cutting my whole life. And, I had it kind of hard coming up and growing up and everything. And when I hear stories about Dr. Appleton, I tend to doubt him. And I was in so much pain last week, I gave it a go. I walked in, and it took about 5 minutes just to walk up to the front door. And by the time I walked out, I was doing jumping jacks back to my truck to leave. So, I mean, it was that fast. It's incredible, the results, how fast they are.
I know, it's amazing. It's amazing, and I the pain is gone. Now, what was your issue that was causing the pain?
From a sciatic nerve.
Your sciatic nerve.
Yep.
Wow.
Running all the way down my left leg. From if my knee was hurting all the way, my foot would go numb, and just sitting, the pain was there. It was just throbbing. That's when I decided it's time to get up and go. And it's been bothering me for about a year, and it's just I'm just blown away. I leave there sometimes, and I tell my friends, and they're starting to go see him too now. It's incredible.
Well, that's great. Well, that's awesome, Marty, and I'm glad you're feeling better now. Dr. Appleton's laser away pain treatment, it works.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brian.
All right, take care, Marty. Yeah, I met Marty in the parking lot at Dr. Appleton's. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
It's like we're living in a Star Trek episode. Remember that one where Kirk, Spock, and McCoy beam down to this gangster planet?
Yeah, the episode's called Piece of the Action.
Yes. That's what we're living in. It's like we're living on a gangster planet,
Yeah.
Think about it. The more they do, the Trump train just keeps gathering speed. It's like it's like he's that train in Back to the Future 3 with those special logs, you know, that throws into the ball to make the ball boil hotter. That's what it is. You know, the DeSantis train is derailed long ago.
Well, the DeSantis, by the way, that episode of Star Trek is called A Piece of the Action, when the USS Horizon left a book about 20s Chicago Al Capone gangsters, and this whole planet based their society on Al Capone's Chicago. It's a pretty good episode. One of my favorite episodes. You know, this is the problem, though. You know, in Al Capone's Chicago, the federal government wasn't corrupt like this. That's why, you know, Elliot Ness was, you know, a Treasury agent. You know, they didn't have the Secret Service that we have it now, but he was a Treasury agent. He went there, and he was not corruptible. But now, it's not one city that's corrupt and everyone's paid off. It's the whole federal government, and it's worse than Chicago. And what's so scary to me about all of this is, and I was talking about this yesterday, is that they're doing this out in the open. They're not even trying to hide what it is they're doing now. They just do it out in the open.
And these last two interviews with DeSantis, you know what it's like? It's like trying to put lipstick on a pig. You know, that's what it is. They're trying to put lipstick on a pig. Mm-hmm. Put as much lipstick on that pig, it's still a pig.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, you know, thanks for the call, Mike, in Louisiana. You know, the thing with DeSantis, and I watched both of those interviews. If I'm going to talk about the guy, I'm going to watch the interviews. I watched the Megyn Kelly interview. That was Friday, which was just awful. And then I watched the Bret Baier interview from last night, this morning, which was so boring, I almost fell asleep, right? The thing about the DeSantis interview, in particular the one with Bret Baier, that's how all the politicians used to be before Trump. That's it. That's how they all were. And I was talking earlier in the hour about how the people that are running Ron DeSantis' campaign are the Karl Rove Bush family people, right? They ran campaigns from the 90s. So their messaging and everything is from that era. They're out of date. They're men, and they have campaign advisors from another time. And they just don't see what's going on here. Ron DeSantis has done us one big favor, letting us know early on that he was fake MAGA. Because he could have kept this ruse going. He would have been the nominee in 2028. We would have elected him, and then after Inauguration Day, we would have found out who he really is. Yeah, that's the way it is. Right now in the polls, Trump is beating Nikki Haley in South Carolina. She was a twice elected governor. In the latest polls in Florida, I know they're old because they've stopped polling in Florida because it doesn't fit the narrative. But in the most recent polls in Florida, Trump is beating DeSantis, where he's the sitting governor in his second term. How is it possible for him to win if he can't even win his own state? And as bad as he's doing in the polls, he's getting a free ride from the media. You know, that story I had yesterday of the bundlers that go to the strip clubs, and I'm sure a lot of you probably saw the pictures, right? They're on my Twitter. Do you see the woman? She looks like a stripper, doesn't she? Oh my goodness. And he's got pictures with. He does not understand the free ride that he's gotten from the media, Ron DeSantis. He's dropped in the polls. Every time they do a poll, he's further down, and that's with getting a free ride from the media, with them propping him up without bringing up any. What about the photograph of him with the high school girls all up against him when he was a high school teacher? All these things have been hidden from the media, and he's still tanking. You know, this thing about him with Disney and now this education thing, people don't care about the social issues right now, right? There's a bigger picture. Taking our country back from the military-industrial complex that has us in this proxy war in Ukraine, and China that's bought off all of our politicians, okay? That's what's important. We got to take, then we can worry about the culture war stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get upset about the Barbie movie, okay? I'm not going to get upset about the new Snow White that doesn't have any dwarfs in it. Okay, am I going to get upset? That's all. I'm not saying these things are not important. But what good are those things if we've lost our country and our freedoms? Don't you understand what I'm saying? And getting involved, but Ken, he looked like a wimp. Who cares? Ken never had a penis anyway, right? He's a doll. I'm not worried about the portrayal of fictional characters right now, right? In movies that I'm never going to see, when we have criminals running our Justice Department and a president that has us in a war probably because he took bribes and he's getting paid. Can't worry about the Snow White movie. All right? That's just me. There's a slave trade going on at the southern border. How can I be worried about the Barbie movie and the portrayal of Will Ferrell in that when we got a slave trade at the southern border? It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robes Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Robes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. On this Tuesday, August the 1st, it's going to feel like it. We have a heat advisory up for the Treasure Coast until 5 o'clock tonight. We'll see in Palm Beach County hot temperatures as well. Highs in the low 90s, triple-digit heat indices, and a chance of afternoon storms. I'm WPBF 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a true oldies traffic check.
I'm telling you, this is insane. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. This is the most pro-Donald Trump place you'll find anywhere. Okay? I'm just going over some stories I'm going to bring up in the next segment. Oh. Hopefully we got Steve's studio together today. I know we had people working on it yesterday, but I won't know until later if it's working.
Here's your true oldies ABC News update. ABC News now, I'm Tom Rivers. Donald Trump
That's right.
social media to predict he'll be indicted in the January 6th insurrection.
See how excited the news gets every time they say indicted with Trump? Listen to these. There's another one.
Investigation into his actions after the 2020 election. That includes the events leading up to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. A grand jury hearing evidence in the case is expected to meet today.
ABC's M. Win, and then there's Atlanta.
Trump could soon be indicted in
They're all excited. Our Trump-hating news.
to overturn the 2020 election results in that state. Officials today will be announcing security measures at the courthouse.
In Memphis, an armed man tried to get into a Jewish school, fired shots when he couldn't, ran, cops caught up with him and shot him when he showed his gun. He's hospitalized in critical condition. In Pittsburgh today, the jury in penalty phase of synagogue massacre shooter Robert Bauer's trial begin deliberations. Death or life in prison. This is ABC News.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Oh boy, oh boy.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware, if you were 60
Oh yeah. Everybody knows the truth.
risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial
I don't call any of the presidents former.
adults younger than 6.
Yeah, like we were talking about Obama yesterday, right? With the murder mystery at the Obama residence, right? Did I say former President Obama? No, President Obama. Give me a break. Nobody says, they only say that with Trump, right? This is just a sign of disrespect
lamp in the house. So you need a floor that will perform. You need Kerastan. These great waterproof floors are on sale only at Will Floor You. Luxury vinyl plank as low as $2.99 a square foot. Our awesome selection of stylish, high-performance carpets on sale at 20% off. So for best service, prompt installation, and by far the best sales, visit Will Floor You in Jupiter at alternate A1A and Stewart on Federal Highway and just south of Walmart, and Will Floor, the letter U, FLA.com.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Oh, first thing I want to quickly say, Friday I told you gas is up 28 cents, over 50 cents a gallon. That's in about 2 weeks. Anyway, thank you, Joe Biden. And the other thing, I have to disagree. I don't think it's okay, man. These politicians are still playing that game. Oh, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then they hope that everybody has a short-term memory loss and forget about it, and they don't do anything. You know, we gotta unelect all these bums that we're putting in that we think are so good and get rid of them like.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the MAGA movement is, you know, like last night in this Bret Baier interview with Ron DeSantis, he said he didn't drain the swamp. He didn't drain the swamp. Well, you know, it's not something you can do all at once. I mean, how many people are in Washington? How many people work for the government in Washington? Yeah, millions. You know, what the heck has he done? And I got news for you. Florida was closed during the pandemic. We opened sooner. We did open up sooner, but it was closed. Right?
You know, I heard him say, really annoyed me. He said, he said that I didn't do a good job, but he did say I did a good job. But then, he moved his family here. You know, they came here before the pandemic.
Listen, President Trump has had Mar-a-Lago for as long as I can remember. You know, and I mean, he made his official residence here, but he's only here part of the year. He's not, you know, Mar-a-Lago closes during the summer. That's why you don't see me going up there too much on YouTube over the summer. Mar-a-Lago closes over the summer. There's really only employees there over the summer. It's too hot. You know, the people that go to Mar-a-Lago, they winter in Florida and then they summer up north. You know, I winter and summer in the same place, but you know, I'm not at that level.
Me too.
Yeah. All right.
But like I said, anyway, the politicians. I'm so sick of this. We gotta. I know they're rotten, but we gotta get them out.
Yeah, but no, we gotta be upset about the Barbie movie. Aren't you upset about the Barbie movie? They make all the men look like, you know, this. Who cares? All right, hey, Doug, thanks for the call. You know, and what I'm telling you is, it's not that these social issues are not important, okay? It's just you got to prioritize. Like, for example, I was reading this article today. A mystery company has bought 55,000 acres of land surrounding an Air Force base in California. And, and they're causing all kinds of problems. Questions remain about it being owned by a hostile power. This is what's going on here, okay? China, through all kinds of fake companies, is buying up U.S. farmland. And no one's doing anything about it. You know, we mentioned Disney. When Walt Disney came to Florida and started buying the land for Disney World, he didn't want anybody to know he was doing it, because if they knew Disney was buying it, the prices would go up, you know? So he set up like half a dozen companies, fake companies with funny names, and by the time people found out, it was too late. That's what China's doing. And they're buying up America. I know they want to tell us Ukraine is the breadbasket of the world, but that's BS. Ukraine was the breadbasket of the Soviet Union. The breadbasket of the world is the United States, okay? That's right. You know, our topsoil in the United States is measured in feet. In Europe, topsoil is measured in inches, and ours is measured in feet. And China is buying up farmland to control our food supply. Now, some of it they do tell you is near military bases for spy ops, sure, but it's to control our food supply. You know, everything I plant dies. It's true. I'm terrible at this. I plant a tree, it dies. I plant a bush, it dies. If you buy up as much farmland as the CCP are doing, you can plant crops that die, and then all of a sudden there's a strawberry shortage. Don't you understand how dangerous this is? President Trump talks about this. And he's going to do something about it. Not only do we have to stop foreigners from buying up our farmland, it has to be seized from them using eminent domain or whatever it is they can use. We've got to take the farmland back from these Chinese companies with all their fake names and ties all over the place to different nations probably and everything else, and give it back to American farmers. We can't let foreigners control our food supply in this country. We're done. Think about it. Chinese start buying up all the orange groves. All of a sudden we have no oranges. Oh, we can go without orange. Yeah. Don't you understand what they're doing? They've already, think about it. Conservative Doug mentioned the price of gas. Oh, it's crazy. And the gas, of course, is the primary cause of inflation in this country. That's big. China's done that. Gas prices have gone up because of China. How's that? They bought off the politicians. Biden takes bribes. He shut down the Keystone Pipeline. They shut down ANWR. All that. We were the #1 producer of oil in the world when President Trump left office at the end of his first term. And now I don't know where we rank. China, they don't have oil. They want us all driving electric cars because they don't have oil. But they've got the lithium to make the batteries for the electric cars because Biden gave it to them in Afghanistan, the largest lithium deposits in the world. So we've got China driving up our gas prices, which has caused massive inflation. We've got China buying up our farmland, and guess what? They're buying up residential neighborhoods too. And where's Ron DeSantis on that? You know, the prices of homes in Florida went up through the roof last year. They're starting to stabilize now. And some of my neighbors, they sold their houses for crazy amounts of money. And a lot of people told me I should have done the same with mine, but I got to buy another house. What good does that do me? It equals out. And I pay very careful attention as to who buys the houses in my street. I am all about it. And anytime there's an open house, I put my MAGA hat on and I go outside and I pretend to be busy. I might check my oil. I might do some yard work. It's all fake, but I want people to know when they're moving in that they're in a MAGA neighborhood. But I look and see who buys the houses. Some of the houses in my neighborhood that sold for these huge amounts of money were bought by corporations for cash, some of them based in California. Well, California is where the CCP are all hooked up. So, and we know that throughout the country, the Chinese are, through these front companies, are buying up residential homes, driving up home prices. Don't you understand what's going on here? DeSantis can't do anything about that. Ramaswamy can't do anything about that. So there's a lot of big problems here in this country. This country, I don't know, we may be occupied by China, and we just don't know it yet. Maybe we are. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Patty.
Hey, Patty.
New Jersey.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, so I'm gonna weigh in on this conversation because I am a former farmer. All right. If you look up Pine Island, New York, okay, it is the black dirt section of New York, and it is the best growing ground in the United States. All right. It was known for its onion fields and stuff like that. Our government has been controlling our food source for a long time because some of the land down there that we used to farm all of a sudden got put into a set-aside program. And the gentleman who owned the farm that we worked for was paid like $400,000 a year not to farm it. We mow it twice a year to keep the weeds down, and we were not to grow. We weren't allowed to grow hay on it for our animals. We used to be a dairy farm. All right, we used to milk 1,800 cows a day. All right, it was a 24-hour operation. So they paid us not to farm that land. All right, now they're putting solar fields in them.
Oh, great.
And not only that, but they also at one point came in and made the owner of the farm an offer for his cows. Any cow that had ever produced milk had to be sold to this.
Well, you know, there's a lot of inside local stuff there, but here's the reality of it. Foreign powers, China and Bill Gates, have been buying up our farmland in this country, and yeah.
And the Chinese bought it.
Well, that should be illegal. That should be illegal.
It absolutely should be, but that's what they're doing. The government's going in and making these outrageous.
And I don't know if people realize this. Like, say the Chinese buy, which they're buying. They bought massive amounts of farmland all over the country, and the majority of, I don't know, the wheat that we get are on these farms. Well, they plant the wheat and it dies because they make it die. Now all of a sudden we've got a wheat shortage, and bread prices and everything connected with bread go through. Don't you understand the economic damage that they could do to us with all of this farmland? They could crash our economy because of it. But
and that's exactly what they're doing. But they're putting farmers out of business, and then the land winds up in the CCP's hands. And you know, and it's just, people have to wake up and you know, because there is definitely going to be a food shortage. I've gone to grow, and I grow all my own food. I raise my own beef. I raise my own.
Well, when you listen to what could happen here. Do you understand that the Chinese could cause a food shortage and even a famine? Look at what happened a couple years ago with the baby formula shortage, because Biden was buying up all the baby formula for the illegal babies at the southern border. You know, we had a whole year of babies who didn't get proper nutrition, and that's going to have an impact. The buying of farmland, like this big story today, a mystery company. It's the CCP, okay, mystery foreign power. It's the Chinese. The Chinese are buying up the farmland so that they can have more control over this country. Listen, I got to run for the break, but thank you for the call. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Are you ready to escape the scorching summer heat? Well, hop on board Margaritaville at Sea's Summer Blowout Sale. You and a guest can sail away on a 3-day, 2-night cruise from Palm Beach to Grand Bahama for just $99. Time to rediscover paradise on the newly refreshed and reimagined Margaritaville at Sea, and reset your surf with pickled revive your senses at the Saint Somewhere Spa, or relish a fresh snack at the Cheeseburger in Paradise Burger Bar.
Regarding Russian sanctions, I'm wondering if you could share the reason why President Biden had billionaires Vladimir Yevtushenko and Yelena Valtrina. How is he handling the conflict of interest they're giving?
Unreal.
La Bamba Restaurant, a family-owned, authentic Mexican restaurant for 33 years. Come on in for a delicious taco salad, steak quesadilla, or a cold margarita. La Bamba is located at 730 U.S. Highway 1 in North Palm Beach. Check out labamba123.com. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association, and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best.
I'm reading over this story. Unreal.
immediately. Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are
I'm reading over this story.
negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to employ a public adjuster or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
This one I almost said the F word. I almost said effing unbelievable.
The best way to protect your family from the effects of a hurricane is to make a disaster plan. In the same way you plan for your family, it's important to also make a plan for your pets. Making a pet plan ensures you know
This story here is just sick.
threatens your community. You can locate pet-friendly shelters, find a list of supplies you may need to bring with you, and other information that can help you and your pets evacuate quickly and safely by visiting
Yeah, I saw that.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FLA.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Oh, boy. I want to tell you guys about the 20th anniversary special at MyPillow. This copy here was handed to me personally by Mike Lindell, the Thomas Edison of sleep, and the inventor of the MyPillow. You know that 20 years ago, Mike Lindell invented the patented fill and introduced the MyPillow to the world. And for the 20th anniversary of MyPillow, Mike Lindell, the Thomas Edison of sleep, is offering a limited edition MyPillow. It's the 20th anniversary limited edition MyPillow that comes with the patented interlocking fill inside that makes the pillow so perfect. There's colored pipe cording around it so you can distinguish the loft level, right? Soft, medium, firm. The case on the outside is 100% Giza cotton. The 20th anniversary MyPillow comes with a 10-year warranty. It's machine washable and dryable. And I just bought these pillows for my daughter at her new house, just $19.98. When you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, that's right. If you already have a MyPillow, order this one as a gift to your friends and family. That's what I did, just $19.98 for the limited edition 20th anniversary MyPillow at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout. You can also order by phone, toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. 4879. So Trump says they're going to arrest him soon. How many crimes? So we found out a couple weeks ago that Biden took the $10 million bribes, which we thought we knew about, but they got the evidence and the bank account information. Then they found a bag of cocaine in the man's house, but Trump's getting arrested again. Listen to this. Karine Jean-Pierre, did you know that she's the first black immigrant gay White House press secretary? Has she told you that lately? Jean-Pierre refused to say why Biden didn't sanction Russian billionaires Elena Baturina. Now, of course, we're at war against Russia because Biden takes bribes from Ukraine. Now, listen, Ukraine did not bomb Moscow. We bombed Moscow. This is a proxy war, meaning they're fighting a war for us because the big guy got paid and is getting paid. A lot of other people too. But Russia's the biggest threat, and they've cut off all the oligarchs, all the billionaires. Well, not this one. Jean-Pierre refused to say why Biden didn't sanction Russian billionaires Elena Baturina. That's right. Now, Devin Archer testified that Biden met, and I'm talking about Joe Biden. Devin Archer testified that Joe Biden met with billionaire Russian Yelena Baturina, who invested after this meeting $40 million into Hunter Biden's real estate ventures. Oh, yeah. She's also the widow of that mayor of Moscow and paid Hunter Biden $3.5 million in consulting fees. Remember when Trump brought that up during the debate, and then the NBC, we didn't have to talk about that. So Biden has taken $43.5 million from this Russian billionaires. For what? What did he do? Did he sell a hotel like Trump might do? Did he sell a building? Did he build something? No. He took bribes for some favors. I don't know what. And by the way, she's one of the billionaires in Russia that's not being sanctioned. Yeah. I know. She gave Hunter, this Russian woman, you've heard of her before, Elena Baturina. She's the wife of the former mayor of Moscow. She gave $40 million to Hunter Biden's real estate ventures, and she's the one who gave Hunter the $3.5 million. This is, by the way, after Joe met with her. And she's not been sanctioned like all the other billionaires in Russia. I wonder why. Is it just a coincidence that she gave $43.5 million for God knows what to Joe Biden? She didn't pay Hunter. She paid Joe. Hunter Biden is nothing more than a laundromat of money. Who does that to their kid? Remember in The Godfather? The Godfather, Don Corleone, he didn't want Michael to get into the family business. He sent him off to college, everything else. Didn't want him to get in the family business. Who wants their kid, what kind of criminal wants their son to get involved in a life of crime? I'll tell you, Joe Biden does. Why is this story not headlining? Why is Trump being arrested? What did he give in return for $43.5 million to this woman? Wouldn't you like to know? What did he do? Well, she's not being sanctioned, but I think there was something more because that came later. If you're on hold, stand by. We're up against our bottom of the hour break. When we get back, we'll take calls. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I'm a little cranky today. I mean, it's, I'm tired of this arresting the president, Trump, and then we have this career criminal. Every day I find out more crimes. I knew that she gave $3.5 million. I'd forgotten about the $40 million. Didn't know that. Did you guys know about the $40 million? Where's all this money? Did they spend it all on strippers and coke? Where's all the money? Yeah, that's what Devin Archer testified to. If you're on hold, stand by. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. And Ron DeSantis, shame on you. Why are you fighting Trump when you've got this going on? Ron DeSantis is like an accessory after the fact to Joe Biden. He's trying to help Joe Biden by focusing on Trump, Pence and all of them. Nikki Haley, too. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
Doing a sound check with Steve. Don said he got it fixed, so. I can hear him loud, but he's not talking. I just texted him to talk, but I don't know if he got the...
He should hear you.
Can you hear me, Steve?
Try again, talk again.
Steve, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you sound perfect.
Okay.
Can he hear me when...
If this is off OL, he could hear you.
If it's on OL, he cannot?
OL. Yeah, because the radio would be blaring.
Let's see. Steve, can you hear me?
Yes.
He can still hear.
Can you hear the radio too, though?
My headset sounds weird, but I can hear
Okay.
Because the radio's on.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
But there's an echo.
Can you hear me now? Okay, hold on. Is there an echo now?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yes, after I speak.
It might be a little too loud. That's why. It's weird. It happens with Eric too, but that
Okay.
goes away once he's on.
All right, well, you're fixed. Okay, what time do you want to come on?
8th.
Okay, all right. Everything's perfect.
Okay. Yeah,
All right, we got Steve fixed.
Yeah, this will always.
He hears the spot. He hears the spots there.
Yeah,
and this one he hears me.
Well, no, that stays. If he won't hear you if that doesn't. It's not on.
Can you hear me, Steve? Can you hear me, Steve? Okay, he's off. He's not on now. He went away. Okay.
It's supposed to take him away. Like he
It's distracting to him, and I can understand when he can hear during the breaks.
Understandable.
So I try to turn that off when I can.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I just forget most of the time.
I was gonna say because that's also your link to
Well,
phones.
here's the other thing. He hears this even when it's potted down. So like when we come back and that music bed goes on for like 60 seconds, he hears the music till it's done.
Huh. Should be if it's plugged in.
I know. I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's weird. Alright. If you need anything,
Okay.
At the touch of a button. Would that make life easier for you? You can with I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will help you set up doctor's appointments, help with your pharmacy, even deal with your pharmacist to make sure that you have your prescriptions. They'll help you find a doctor.
See, behind the scenes.
If you've been billed improperly by a doctor's office or a hospital, they can help you with that too. They'll even be your advocate when you're in the hospital to make sure you get the care you need and the care you deserve. And that's just the beginning of what they do. I Will Advocates takes care of all Steve Kane's healthcare issues too, and they can do the same for you. I Will Advocate clients are family, and they go back for their family when you need them the most. Call Debbie at I Will Advocates right now. Toll free 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326. 1-877-275-2326.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Darren Lestovsky, DC, owner of Pivotal Health and Wellness. Dr. Lestovsky, what is neuropathy?
Goodness, I tell you.
Neuropathy is actually nerve
How can Biden take $43.5 million from this Russian billionaire for nothing other than obviously political favors, and Trump's getting arrested? Can anybody explain that to me?
Call 561-287-3255
I mean, what the hell?
today. The first 25
It's frustrating. And then we got this asshole, Ron DeSantis, telling us how bad Trump is.
561-287-3255.
The free screening is $149.
You know what I mean?
Any other person responsible for payment has the right to refuse to pay. Cancel payment for any other service, examination, or treatment that is performed as a result of and within 72 hours of responding to the advertisement for the free, discounted fee, or reduced fee service, examination, or treatment.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. The buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love
Insane.
them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so.
I don't know how Trump puts up with this crap. I don't know how he does it. Imagine, I mean, all you're doing is good for people in the country. You got this whole criminal op going on, and they're coming after you.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are
It's insanity.
We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about our family dentist at the Kane household, Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. From cleanings to implants, he does it all. We love Dr. Gupta at our household because he takes the pain and the anxiety out of dental work, all at an affordable price. Call Dr. Gupta at 954-922-4633. Tell him Steve sent you.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve, we got Steve's studio fixed. I'm so glad he did not take my advice and throw his studio equipment in the lake behind his house, because it's all working today. Our engineer got it all working yesterday. Don, we've got the best engineer with the best radio voice you've ever heard in the business. I'm going to go to the phones, but I want to ask you this question first. How is it that Joe Biden took $43.5 million from this Russian woman, $43.5 million for nothing other than obviously some favors, and Trump's getting arrested again? Can someone explain that to me? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Jay from Chip.
Hey, Jay.
I don't know. I guess I was a little perturbed this morning when I heard you say that Donald Trump is similar to Nelson Mandela.
Correct.
And Martin Luther King.
Correct.
Oh, come on, Brian. That's an insult.
Well, let me explain. Slow down. Slow down. Let me explain myself, and then you can tear apart what I'm saying. Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela, great men. Great men. Martin Luther King was a civil rights leader who led African Americans to freedom in this country, right? Donald Trump is leading the American people to freedom from an oppressive government. Mandela was put in prison because, I know they got a bunch of other reasons they say, but he was put in prison because he was organizing a political movement to take out of power the political establishment of his country. So they arrested him and put him in jail. That's what they're doing to Trump. So yes, President Trump is a civil rights leader like Martin Luther King, and a political prisoner as well like Mandela. Share how I'm wrong with that.
Oh my God, he's nothing whatsoever.
Other than saying he's not like that, walk me through and tear down what I said.
But let me speak without cutting me off.
Mm.
As soon as I speak, you cut me off. I just let you speak and I didn't say a word. I was being polite. I tried to be. Okay, as I was saying, they are nothing alike. Trump is a cult leader. They were leaders. And to hear you put, as a black man, here you put him in the same category as them is racial, disgusting, and very rude.
Oh.
No way those two people or three people could be put in the same category.
Mm. What?
Disgusting people.
What type of person was Martin Luther King? What kind of activist was he?
An activist for what we are still.
No, what was he trying to stop though? Martin Luther King. What was Martin Luther King trying to stop? You don't even know. You don't even know. Excuse me. We're talking about the great Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was fighting to change something. What was he fighting for?
I know what he was fighting for.
Tell me.
For me.
You don't know. You don't know. You don't know.
All I need to know. He was fighting.
You don't know. How sad is this? How sad is this? Now I understand your anger at me. You don't know about Martin Luther King rose up because a corrupt government started in Montgomery, Alabama. A corrupt government, it was a local government, said that black people had to give up their seats to white people on a public bus or sit at the back of the bus. But if there was no seats, they had to surrender it to white people. Martin Luther King organized the Montgomery bus boycott, okay, to defeat an oppressive government, and he won. And that's what Trump is doing.
And so to that is for a white man to be telling me about.
Well, I'm sorry that you couldn't tell me what he was all about and what he did.
No, I already know. That,
uh-huh.
You try to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
A black man, a white man, just because you have a black child does not give you the right to tell.
Well, tell me something else that Martin Luther King did other than the bus boycott. What else was he fighting to overturn?
No.
Then tell us. Then tell us. Then tell the audience and make me look stupid.
I've told him. So what am I?
No, that is how he became a national figure. The Montgomery bus boycott is what made Martin Luther King a national figure. But what else was he fighting for?
That's your question.
You don't even know. You don't even know.
Do you understand that the things that come out your mouth are racial.
No, they're not racial. You see, you throw racial out because you've got no answers, and you think if you call a white guy racist, he's going to fall down on the floor, get in a fetal position, and you're a sad man. I'm going to let you go so you can go and find a bookstore in Jersey and buy a book, okay, about Martin Luther King and find out some things he did. Wow, how embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Vincent Remington.
Oh, my goodness.
That was great. That was great from Jay, the hypocrite. All right, so the one thing I will say that you kind of missed on the Martin Luther King thing is that he was fighting for Jesus.
He was fighting for a lot of things, but he was fighting. But listen, what he was fighting for, what he was doing. Well, but hold on. What Martin Luther King was doing was he led a movement, a peaceful movement modeled after Gandhi, against a corrupt government. It was a corrupt government, local governments in the South, local and state government. That's what he did, and that's what President Trump is doing on a larger scale in this country right now today.
I mean, yes, that's true too as well. But I mean, the one difference that I will say, just being a bystander watching politics in general from Trump and Biden, is that you won't hear Biden speak about God. You won't hear him with a Bible in his hand. You won't hear him speak about Jesus. You understand that Trump even acknowledged Jesus as the most popular person ever. And the difference between a man like Jay and me is that I don't look at color. I look at the quality of a man and what he stands for. And what Biden stands for is his corrupt family and the corruption of this country. What Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all these people that Rush Limbaugh has been talking about for my entire life, they all stand for the corruption of this country. They don't stand for the greatness of this country. And that's what Trump does. Jay's a fool. He's never went to school. He doesn't understand exactly what is going on in this country. That his freedom is being stolen while he's crying about his skin.
See, all he cares about is sitting on his butt at mama's house and not having to work.
He's a fool that's been fed like a gerbil. And that's what I've watched my whole life, is that men, they crab.
So Devin Archer, lets us know that we knew that Biden took the $3.5 million from the wife of the mayor of Moscow, but I didn't know about the other $40 million. So now, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, the $5 million between the two payments that he took.
Well, no, she gave a payment of $40 million to Hunter's real estate. So that's another. So according to Devin Archer, maybe there's some others, but Biden took $43.5 million from the wife of the mayor of Moscow. $43.5 million for what? Did he sell a golf course? Did he sell a hotel like Trump did to Merv Griffin? What did he do for the 43? And Trump's getting arrested again?
If you do public searches enough, Brian, you could find out how much land these people own. And Frank Biden actually lives in Delray Beach. And there's connections between him and his other brother that
they own
an island close to Epstein's Island as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that might have been where that $40 million went. But regardless, these people aren't going to get called out for their crime.
Well, I'm calling them out. 43. He took $43.5 million for what? And I missed it. I'm listening to the news at the top of the hour. All I hear about Trump indictment, Trump money. What about this?
They're talking more about the X symbol than they are about what's really going on.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. I understand your anger with the culture war part, but that does have a lot to do with the future, and I think that's why a lot of us younger people focus on it so much with the music and the movies. But it's a complicated thing.
Lots of things are important, but you got to prioritize. If you try to take care of everything, nothing gets done. You got to prioritize. We can worry about these culture war things when we don't have people that take bribes running the government.
I agree.
All right, take care, man. I appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our last break of this hour. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be right back.
The Cold hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon here with a question. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. I wish we had them for everyone, but the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to call 833-283-5050
Oh my goodness.
will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman Shield. You can see your home right from the palm of your hand. And that's not all. Sloman's going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a
I was just going to do that commercial.
if you're one of the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to dial 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So call Sloman's now for this limited time offer, 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
Here, telling you about our 5th annual listener cruise, and you're all invited, except Liberal Al. Liberal Al, you're not invited, but the rest of you are. We leave April 27th on board the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of celebrity cruises. We're going to the ABC Islands, Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. We have shore excursions at every port, and I'll be on them all with you. We'll have dinner together every night, private cocktail parties, we'll go to Broadway shows together, and dance till the clubs close every night. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot and book your reservation. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Are you ready to escape the scorching summer heat? Well, hop on board Margaritaville at Steve's Summer Blowout Sale. You and the guests can sail away on a 3-day, 2-night cruise from Palm Beach to Grand Bahama for just $99. Time to rediscover paradise on the newly refreshed and reimagined Margaritaville at sea. And reset your serve with pickleball at sea. Revive your senses at the St. Somewhere Spa, or relish a fresh snack at the Cheeseburger in Paradise Burger Bar. But hurry, this amazing blowout sale will only last a few days. Book your getaway today at margaritavilleatsea.com.
When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours for one of those big labs. That's why I have an lab test now at Boca and lab test now at Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of different lab test nows around, but these are the only two advertising on
Oh boy.
only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. Any lab test now in Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any lab test now at Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call any lab test now at Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now at Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. Don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on air.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I just got a text message from someone. Like I said, Al Knight. And I'm not going to say the name Al Knight yet, but there's apparently there's a well-known, long-time South Florida broadcaster who has been calling, saying goodbye to everyone, like they're on death's door here. And, oh my goodness, I'm going to tell, Steve might be able to get a hold of this person. You know, you get to a certain age and people you know start dropping like flies. I hope this person's not. But first, let's talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. You know, Friendly Tire in Margate have been with us for many years on the program. And I found them out of necessity. I had a four-wheel drive Jeep Wrangler for many years. I loved it, and it had the big tires, the soft top, and everything else. And the first time I had to get tires, I realized why I got such a great deal on the Jeep Wrangler. I bought it used because the tires were so expensive. And I found Friendly Tire out of necessity. Friendly Tire and Margate have all the name brand tires you know and love. Firestone, Goodyear, Pirelli, all the tires brands you know and love. And they have the lowest prices on new tires you'll find anywhere. He has thousands of good used tires in stock too. And every car in my household is on the road on tires from Friendly Tire and Margate. We have listeners that drive hours each way because the prices are so good. We've had listeners from out of state drive down from our cruise. You know, for our cruises, before they drive up north, they stop at Friendly Tire and get new tires. My daughter, before she went to California, I took her car over there, got 4 new Firestone tires put on her car before I shipped it to California. The tire prices are great. And when you call Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire, he'll give you a quote right over the phone. But remember, that quote that he gives you is out the door and on the road, meaning he doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or even dispose of your old tires. There's no added fees. Out the door and on the road. He also does tire repairs, which the other places don't do. Give him a call. Again, Friendly Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian.
Yes.
Hello. It's Youngerman.
Oh, hey, William. We're on the air. So we're on the air live. I picked you up on the air, William Youngman. Let me put you on hold. I'll let you talk to Mike, the board op. Okay. Okay. Hold on. That happens sometimes. See, that's just proof that we take our calls screenless. William Youngerman. Just let me know what he wants to do, Mike, and then we'll do it. Does he want to do the Gold Report early? Is that what he wants to do? Let me know. No? Just let me know what he wants to do, and we'll be cool. All right. But let me get back to where we were. I'm in a really bad mood today. I'm in a bad mood for a number of reasons, and I'll tell you why I'm in a bad mood. We've got all these con men, grifter, self-inflating promoters running against President Trump, telling us why they should be the candidate and why he's a bad candidate, when we have criminals running the establishment. But the one thing that put me in a bad mood today was this one soundbite. I played it in the first hour, and I'm going to play it again. And this one really ticked me off. That is Comer on Hannity last night. So Comer's got the committee. He's got the receipts. He's got the proof. He's got the Biden bank records. And finally, he gets Devin Archer there yesterday. So Devin Archer, of course, it was behind closed doors. We know they were so afraid of him, the Biden regime. They tried to put him in prison over the weekend. Right? We were talking about this yesterday. He testifies, and I'm like, great. And then Comer goes on Hannity last night and says this.
Do you believe that this is now officially the Joe Biden bribery allegation? And do you believe that you will be able to prove that, Jim Comer?
I sure hope so.
I sure hope so?
I sure hope so.
What does he mean, I sure hope so? What happened to... Yes! 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 Where does confidence go? And I saw this clip with Comer after the Archer testimony, and I hear that, and I think to myself, did they get to him? Did they get to Comer? What does he mean? I sure hope so. What happens to the... Yes! We've got the bank information. We've got the phone records. We've got the travel records. And we got the IRS guys. And Biden and Hunter can't show anything that they provided in exchange for all this. Now, am I being paranoid here? Or does it sound to you like Comer is not so confident.
Allegation, and do you believe that you will be able to prove that, Jim Comer?
I sure hope so.
I sure hope so. When do you watch a trial where the prosecutor says, well, I hope we can convict BTK. I hope we can convict him. I hope we... What? You know, I've seen Comer on TV talking about this so many times and have heard nothing but confidence from him. And now this? I hope so? That sounds like he's saying we don't have the evidence, which we know they do. Why are they all covering for this guy? I understand they hate Trump. But why are they all covering for Joe Biden? Is it because he has records on all these guys that show their crime? I don't know. But I do know this. Comer didn't sound very confident there. And, you know, when they go after these people, they don't just go after you. They go deep and as far back as they have to. And they find that your cousin or your uncle or somebody that you're connected to or your father-in-law or your mother-in-law did this or did that. And then that's how they get to these people. So you can be a saint, but then they start going into your immediate and then your extended family, and then all of a sudden they find one guy, and everyone's got one guy in their family who's got something going on, right? Some problems. And then all of a sudden, Comer doesn't sound like he's got the goods on Biden. You know what this really reminds me of? This is like the OJ trial. You know, when the OJ Simpson murder trial was going on, it's been a long time. So probably there was so much evidence. You know, Ron Goldman's blood was inside OJ's Bronco that was parked on the curb in front of his mansion. And then they had the trail of blood from OJ's cut finger that went from the Bronco all the way into the house. Do you know that OJ's clothes were in the washing machine that he murdered them in and all that? They had everything but the knife. Kim Kardashian's father disposed of the knife probably. There was so much evidence, including Ron Goldman's blood inside his white Ford Bronco. He had one too, just like Al Cowling's. And all that evidence came in, and he got acquitted. Why? Well, we had a racist jury, and they knew he was guilty. They didn't acquit him. They didn't find him not guilty because he wasn't guilty. The evidence they just didn't care. And that's how I feel with Biden. There has never been such evidence. You know, back in the days of Whitewater, the Clintons invested 10 cents and then made $100,000. Remember all that? That stuff was rather vague, very difficult to understand. These crimes of Biden are clear. Anyone can understand them. They're as plain as day. And all the evidence is there. The OJ jury were racist. So they let him get away because he killed 2 white people. One of the jurors gave him the Black Power fist after the verdict was read when the jury was walking out of the courtroom. And OJ nodded to him. When you see OJ nod, that he's nodding to the guy giving the Black. So I understand why they did that. But why are the media and the Washington insiders and the Uniparty and Ron DeSantis and all the rest, why are they covering up for this guy? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian, this is Barbara in Baltimore.
Hey, Barbara.
You're right about what you're saying. They're all compromised. That's why they've been in office so long. I mean, look at Mitch McConnell. You think McConnell didn't know that Joe Biden was getting money from China when he's married to a very rich family, Chinese family?
Mitch McConnell's wife is his handler from the CCP. And, President Trump said yesterday that Mitch McConnell needs to resign. The Chinese will not let him or Dianne Feinstein resign.
They're hanging around. I thought got that. I said, why these people want? I looked at him when he had that moment where he was stunned or whatever, like a pin stroke or whatever happened to him the other day, and he didn't know where he was from.
It was a stroke. He had a stroke. He had a mini stroke.
Yep, that's exactly what I thought. And they just hanging and hanging and hanging there. But the Republicans have got to get some balls, so they're going to get primaries. And I heard from, was it Anna Paulina Luna, said yesterday that one of our favorite witty candidates, senators, John Kennedy, or what? I think his name is John Kennedy, one from Louisiana. He's always he's one of the people who said that it would be a tit for tat. She said there were 3 Republican senators who thought that impeachment would be out of the question. It was a tit for tat. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
Trump did, and they're still trying to put it.
That's right. Well, listen, I got to run for our top of the hour break. You make some good points. Thanks for the call. We'll be right back.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by the Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rope Studio. Injured recently? Call the Ropes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 5615.
What's that?
The other man said he's not able to make it to the...
Oh, he wants me to do the report?
Yeah.
You and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the Oldies forecast.
Oh, my goodness.
On this Tuesday, August the 1st, it's going to feel like it. We have a heated
That Comer comment was just
We'll see in Palm Beach County hot temperatures as well. Highs
the worst.
triple-digit heat in the seas and a chance of afternoon storms. I'm WPBF 25 reporting meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops in Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com.
Yeah, and Comer, what does he mean? I hope so. I thought he had all the evidence. I thought he had all the bank account and wire transfer information. What is he talking about? My goodness. How can he say that? Where did Comer's confidence go? Am I reading too much into that, or did he sound like they got to him? Sounded like they got to him to me. What do you guys think?
And in West Palm Beach, Clematis Street still closed from Dixie Highway to Olive Avenue. Take Banyan Boulevard instead. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, you have a tape measure and a screwdriver. You can install their blinds and save big. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com. That's traffic for Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the poker room at PBKC, open daily for cash games, daily high hands, mega bad beat jackpots, and big...
It was not sarcasm. If that helps you, feel good. Tell yourself that. That was not sarcasm. And then after that, it was awful.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News update.
ABC News Now, I'm Tom Rivers. Donald Trump hits his social media to predict he'll be indicted in the January 6th insurrection.
Trump expects to face a new indictment in the special counsel's investigation into his actions after the 2020 election. That includes the events leading up to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. A grand jury hearing evidence in the case is expected to meet today.
ABC's M. Wynn, and then there's Atlanta.
Trump could soon be indicted in Georgia, where a prosecutor is investigating his efforts to overturn the 2020 election results in that state. Officials today will be announcing security measures at the courthouse.
In Memphis, an armed man tried to get into a Jewish school, fired shots when he couldn't. He ran, cops caught up with him and shot him when he showed his gun. He's hospitalized in critical condition. In Pittsburgh today, the jury in penalty phase of synagogue massacre shooter Robert Bauer's trial begin deliberations.
Every time they say indictment with Trump in our news, they get all excited.
Thanks, sweetheart. I got you this. A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon here with a question. How would you like free doorbell camera. You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. I wish we had them for everyone, but the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to call 833-283-5050 will get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman Shield. You can see your home right from the palm of your hand. And that's not all. Sloman's going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED screen pad, a motion detector, 3 armed doors, and a backup battery. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 true oldies channel listeners to dial 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield.
All right, we're coming back.
So call Sloman's now for this limited time offer, 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve King Show with Brian Craig.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. Steve, we got your studio working? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I almost don't recognize your voice. I haven't heard it. Oh, my goodness. Okay, can I share something first, though? Okay, I'm going to use the name here. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to do. I got a text from Al Knight. He said that he heard that Craig Worthing is calling people, saying goodbye to them. Craig Worthing.
I was going to say, first initial C.
Yeah. So, no, and Al Knight said that he can't get a hold of Craig Worthing, and so after the show, you got to try. Craig Worthing's a legendary radio guy from years ago. Yes. Even though we didn't go to his birthday party once, and he's never forgiven us. But in these times, we'll come together, I hope. But yeah. So if anyone's got any news on the great Craig Worthing, let us know. Oh, boy, I tell you.
Getting back to what you were asking, are you overreacting? I think the answer to that is yes.
I hope so, Steve.
Because I assume. Wait, tell him what you said.
Now he's too loud.
See if we can pick up the story.
Okay, well, let me pull up the audio, okay? Because this was really discouraging to me. It was I wish I wouldn't have found this audio because I didn't watch it live. Okay, so yesterday we had Devin Archer testify in this closed-door meeting, and we knew it's a big testimony because the Biden regime tried to put him in prison over the weekend, so he couldn't testify. And we got a lot of information from him, including that the wife of the mayor of Moscow gave $40 million to Joe Biden after he met with her, and she's given a total of $43.5 million to Joe Biden. No. The 40 million's new, and she is one of the only billionaires in Russia that's not being sanctioned by the Biden regime. Shocker. So Comer is on Hannity after the Devin Archer testimony last night, and here's the exchange.
This is now officially the Joe Biden bribery allegation, and do you believe that you will be able to prove that, Jim Comer?
I sure hope so.
I hope so. Oh, Steve. Oh.
I'll tell you why. First of all, it's no surprise that the Democrats are going around digging up people's past and trying to exercise undue influence on them. That comes as no surprise. I would have been shocked if that wasn't happening. So that, in and of itself, I don't find unbelievable. But the amount, again, which is new and is monstrously larger than any figure we've ever heard. They may not have flipped yet. They may just have found somebody that they think they can manipulate as this thing progresses.
Yeah. Well, Comer, Steve, he's the lead, on this committee, and he doesn't seem as confident now. You know, so it's a, yeah. All right, now okay, all right, we went this.
Would you be shocked? I mean, are you shocked that they applied pressure to any Republican?
Well, if they put pressure on Comer, we're done. It's over because he's the head of the committee investigating the whole thing, Steve.
You assume that he's given in to the pressure.
Well, when he says, "I hope we can," he's basically the prosecutor, right? So when he says, "I hope so," that's not like, "Yes, we've got the evidence." Last week, you're like, yeah.
Mean that there are other people that are being pressured that may not be as strong as he is.
I don't know, Steve. I don't know. No. I think he's. Boy. I hope I'm wrong. I'm not giving up. I'm sharing. No, I'm just reporting what happened with Comer. I mean, I'm not giving up. I'm just reporting what happened with Comer. I mean, this is insane.
It's the dynamic. The whole story is a triangle here. The relationship between the Trump that shenanigans, however you want to characterize them, and what's going on with Biden.
All right, well, let's take some calls, Steve. Let's see what the audience thinks. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Brian and Steve. I hope y'all doing well. I'd like to ask good morning. I'd like to ask a question. This is Barbara from Tennessee, by the way. I'm sorry.
Hey, Barbara.
Is there anybody left in D.C. that we can trust that's in our...
Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert. That's about it.
Very few, and it's really upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
I've written my Congress people here, Senate and representatives, and you get this robotic type answer back.
Yeah.
You bet you can. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah. Jim Jordan. Yeah, let me add Jim Jordan to the list. You know, we've got like maybe I mean, if we stretch it, we might get 6 people we can trust.
I mean, none of us are surprised. Is anybody surprised that they're trying to pressure people?
Steve, if we only talk about what does not surprise us, we'll have nothing to talk about. I'm not surprised. Of course, Steve, Comer is, I'm not being negative, I'm sharing what he put out. Comer, Steve, is the lead in Congress to bring Biden to justice for his crimes, and he didn't seem as confident in that clip as I've heard him in the past, and that's after the Devin Archer testimony. It's a different Comer.
Well, I love both you guys. I really do, and thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. By the way, our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-CANE-1. I'm not going to cover up the news. I'm not losing confidence, but I'm a little worried about Comer is what I'm telling you, Steve. We got to keep our eye on Comer.
So what he said was concerning.
I mean, if he's done, we need to remove him from that chairmanship and put Marjorie Taylor Greene in charge. He's on that committee. This is alarming to me. And Steve, the reason I'm a little extra sensitive to it is this is after the Devin Archer testimony, after what the Biden regime tried to do over the weekend, putting him in prison so he couldn't testify. So,
but that's good news, the Devin Archer incident, because he went through that and he didn't change.
Well, well, Comer did though. Comer seemed different last night. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. By the way, I've been sending text messages to you during the break, so you got to check those during the break, Steve, if you don't mind, okay? They're important text messages. All right. I'm sending them to your wife. They're very important. I don't like to signal things on the air, but I've been desperate for the last 10 minutes to get word to you about something, and I am not getting a response. So go check those messages, Steve. All right, our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. Also, if anyone has any word on Craig Worthing, please let us know. And the reason I throw that out on the air is because Al Knight can't get a hold of Craig Worthing, and I've never heard of him not being able to get a hold of him before. So we're a little concerned, and we hope that he is A-OK. All right, our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We'll be right back.
Sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-CANE-1. This is the
All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We're great. What do you have for us today?
As you know, a week from today, we're doing our first successor trustee workshop at our office so that anybody who has a trust, who of course would then have successor trustees named, can train their successor trustees so that they'll know what to do. It's a free workshop, and really it aligns with our goal at the Siegel Law Group is to help our clients take care of the people they love, their family, and have the peace of mind in doing so. And one of the gaps in the process is that, you know, you could have the greatest documents, all the tools, all the free services we offer to make sure everything works fine. But if your successor trustee doesn't know what to do, there can be an issue. So that's why we decided it would be a good idea to train successor trustees so they'll know what to do, they'll know what their responsibilities and duties, what mistakes to avoid, and they'll just be familiar with the process so it won't be so daunting at the time that they're.
Absolutely, because you know the person who's the trustee is probably not an attorney like Attorney Barry Siegel, and they get and I have one trust, Barry. It's like it's as thick as a phone book when phone books were a thing. I wouldn't know what to do, and can you also tell people, Barry, you offer a service that I've never heard of a law firm doing before. You offer a consultation with the trustee when it's time for the trust to go in. Can you tell people about that?
Well, yeah, for our clients, we offer a free post-death consultation with the successor trustee, whether it be in person, by phone, or Zoom, to make sure that they know all the things they need to do, answer all their questions, and guide them as needed. And we offer that to all of our clients, and also for any attendee that comes to the successor trustee workshop. We also have a successor trustee manual that is available.
Oh.
In that manual, it actually also has a certificate for a free post-death consultation.
Wow.
Successor trustee.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. You hear that, guys? And listen, if you're tuning in and you're not the successor trustee, but you have a trust, maybe you should get a hold of your successor trustee and take them to the workshop at the Siegel Law Group 1 week from today. I'm going to give you the number to the Siegel Law Group right now. You can find them online at siegellawgroup.com, siegellawgroup.com, or call toll-free 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782. All right, that's exciting. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week. All right, back after this.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. Steve, you back with us? Okay, now you're cool. Everything's cool. All right, now I want to tell people this is a limited time offer, so listen carefully, guys. The Sloman's free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation offer is here. You can get a free doorbell camera if you're one of the first 40 listeners who call 833-283-5050 with the installation of your Sloman Shield. So you can see your home, no matter where you are, right on your phone. And I use this all the time. Sometimes when I'm here at the radio station, sometimes when I'm out and about, I get a notification. Sometimes when I'm out of town. And they're going to give you more than that, guys. Sloman's are going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. And if you're one of the first 40 listeners who call today, 833-283-5050, 1-833-283-5050, you'll get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. This is a limited time offer. Don't miss this great opportunity. All right, Steve, the phones are ringing. What do you want to do?
Phone.
Okay, all right, here we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Gee whiz. Yes, you're on the air.
Hi, Staggering. Haven't called in a while. How are you? Steve, I hope this is going well.
Yes.
Listen, I kind of agree with Brian here because I don't give up. I'll never give up. But when he comes back with "I hope so," that's not as awe-inspiring.
No.
If you get my message.
Exactly.
You know, with what he heard yesterday, he should have been able to say with a resounding yes.
Well, see, Irene.
They can't come out with that certainty until the.
No, Steve, no. Last week, Comer's on TV. We've got the bank account numbers. We got the phone records. We got them. And now this week, well, I hope so. There's been a change, and there's been a change.
Was, do you think, not will you, it's do you think you can. So he definitely should have just been able to say yes.
Now maybe he was just tired from the long day of the closed door hearing, and he was like, let's hope.
Let's see what follows. That's it.
And shame on.
Let's back up a little bit. Everything that came out of the secret interview or whatever it was seemed to go our way. All the things that we needed to be true.
I don't know. This is the first time hearing about it. That's why I'm a little concerned.
And Hannity, and shame on Hannity. If Comer would have said that, I'd say, wait a minute, Comer. Last week you said you got all the wire transfers and everything. What happened? What do you mean you hope so?
I wouldn't pinpoint him, put him on the spot. Because then
I put him on the spot. Brian's absolutely right. And it's typical Hannity missing the major point.
You know why? Because he waits to talk and doesn't listen.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right, guys, I got to go to work.
All right. Oh, and you know it's a conservative. She's got to go to work. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you call? Oh, we interrupted a conversation.
Brian?
Yes, you're on the air.
Yes, this is LB from Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. I want to know why I was banned from your show. I've never said anything disrespectful for you or Steve. I love the show.
You're not. Well, a couple things. You're not banned. I don't even know who you are.
Why? I tried to speak. Huh?
You're not banned. So what's on your mind?
I'm just telling you that I was blocked. I could not say anything. I've never disrespected.
Listen. You're on the air now. You're obviously not banned. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to tell you that because.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. She's upset that she's banned. She's not banned, but she's got nothing to say. I mean, I don't understand. I don't know, Steve. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's going on here, Steve. I don't know. I just, maybe I need to start smoking weed like all the liberals. I don't know. No, let me give out the number at 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. A couple of things I want to comment on before we go back to the phones. The media are, maybe this is not news to you, but it's news to me. I did not know that Russian billionaire, the wife of the mayor of Moscow, gave them another $40 million, okay? So they got 43. So now Devin Archer gave us a lot of information, and this is evidence that he's given under oath, right? And everything else. Biden meets with this Russian billionaires, and then she gives him $43.5 million for what? We don't, Well, not specifically. He gave her something. What he gave her, I don't know. What did he do? He did something that helped this Russian billionaires. We don't know what it is. And the media are focusing in on Trump. Trump indictment, Trump guy, the maintenance man got out on bail. Come on.
What's going on than we are.
And they're covering up.
In our speculation this morning, this whole horrible mess is a million miles from its conclusion. A million miles. And the thing to keep your eye on, in my humble opinion, the thing to keep your eye on is the Trump-Biden connection. That's what's going to end up here. You got two of these major events. One, in your mind and my mind, a lot more serious, and that's, of course, the sellout thing that Joe Biden did.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Back and forth 1,000 times to take one.
All right.
It is one of the big things they're going to make a big thing out of is this remark, this harmless remark that Biden made.
Biden? I don't know which remark. Well, I want to mention one thing before we break that's unrelated, because I don't want to get involved. I want to mention it quickly before the break, because I don't want to get a discussion going on this. You know, Pee Wee Herman died yesterday, and Pee Wee Herman never really recovered his career. He was arrested in the early 90s, like 91-ish. I don't remember the exact year, but around 91 or 2. I can remember because I kind of... No, he was not a pedophile. He was no, he was not. No. He was arrested for masturbating in an adult movie theater here in Florida, okay? He was arrested for masturbating in an adult movie theater here in Florida, and it was in the early 90s, and I know it was around 91, 92, because I remember where I was at around the time we were talking about that. Yeah, but he never recovered from that, his career. Never got his career back fully. He did some things, but he was never the same. And the reason is because he was involved he was basically at that time identified as the host of a children's comedy show, Pee Wee's Playhouse. You look at what's going on today with these strip shows with the little kiddies in the elementary schools and the preschools and bringing kids to gay strip bars and everything else. You know, what Pee Wee Herman destroyed his career for, if that happened today, it'd be a speed bump. His career wouldn't skip a beat, and it's really a statement. You know, it was right for Pee Wee Herman to have career problems back then. When you're hosting a children's show that airs on Saturday morning, and then you get arrested masturbating in a public movie theater, that it's the right thing for that to have an effect on you. In this day and age, the morals of this country have been so eroded, Steve. Well, we have very little moral. There really aren't any moral standards anymore. Pee Wee Herman would not get in any trouble whatsoever, and he would still be hosting that kiddie show if this arrest happened today and everything else was the same. We have no morals, no values, and in fact, it probably would have enhanced his career if that happened today. All right, we'll take our break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Said that was because he was accused of child porn.
Was he?
Yeah, in 2002, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Some say it was guilty, some say he got dropped, but he was accused. But for younger men, do you want to just do a regular commercial break and then do the amateur go?
Yes. Yeah.
Alright, sounds good.
in West Palm Beach, Clematis Street still closed from Dixie Highway to Olive Avenue. Take Vandy Boulevard instead. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. If you're like many people, you may think custom blinds is a job for expensive professionals. Well, at Blindster, you have a tape measure and a screwdriver. You can install their blinds and save big. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com. That's traffic from Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Come out to the poker room with PBKC, open daily for cash games, deadly high hands, mega bad beat jackpots, and big money tournaments like the $100,000 guaranteed Monster Multi-Flight Tournament, August 3rd through the 6th. Visit our newly expanded casino table game area with your favorites, Ultimate Texas Hold'em and 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum. Your entertainment destination. Go to pbkennelclub.com.
Sounds like it's back to school time, and Staples has great prices on everything you need for school. Save on markers and crayons, save on notebooks and folders, and right now at Staples, save big on tech, with up to $250 off select computers. Staples, where savings for school are always in session. N729, in-store only. See associate for details.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day. The buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them.
The president has made being a family
Absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so
essential.
glad. I got
For 4 years, and the President of the United States hanging up a stocking with a dog, and not for his 7th grandchild.
Okay, look, we can also have sympathy for people who are struggling with addiction. Let's keep this conversation respectful.
Listen, I totally agree. And you know where I'm from? A lot of families deal with addiction. And you know who ends up picking up the pieces? The grandparents. And in this case, the grandparents.
We're coming back in just a minute, guys. Well, not bad. As tired as I am today, I almost got through the whole show already, so that's good. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. You know, Steve, a lot of liberals, they talk about systemic racism, right? Now, systemic racism, you know, for the liberals out there that use the word and don't know what it means the system itself is racist, right? Which is, you know, against African Americans. I'm going to give you an example of systemic racism against African Americans, okay? Over the weekend, almost 50 people were shot between Friday and Sunday in Chicago. That's systemic racism. Where's Black Lives Matter Where, I mean, you know, you get, where's Biden? Where's the Black Caucus? Where's the, you know, Steve, if, hiding out, probably at the, you know, the CCP meeting, you know, and, I mean, this is, think about it. If there were 50 people shot over the weekend in whatever town you live in, what would happen? You know, we don't, if there was a shooting in my neighborhood, the entire neighborhood would be out giving our doorbell camera footage to the police to go through it and find it out. You got 48, 49 shot in Chicago over just the weekend. It's barely in the news. There's no national outcry, nothing. And this is why. It's systemic racism. See, if Black Lives Matter was a legitimate organization as opposed to just a real estate scam, they would go to Chicago and put a stop to it. And, you know, all this talk about, if there were 50 shot anywhere else, there would be a national story. But in Chicago, they just, you know, the liberal media don't care. There's no political gain in it because it's probably black on black in almost every instance. Some of them might be Hispanic on black or vice versa, but they just don't care. Those Black Lives Matter. Well, people don't think that these black lives in Chicago apparently matter. It's disgusting.
There were three articles on, I guess they were seniorish type citizens, they were older people. 3 people in one day jumped off separate high buildings and committed suicide.
Oh my.
In one day.
Now,
I'm sure my memory is a little bit foggy in terms of what was going on when I was growing up, my misspent youth in New York City. But I never remember one story, and I'm not saying no one ever jumped out of a window or off a building in New York. I'm not saying that, but 3 separate incidents of the same thing in one day in New York.
And they're unrelated.
I don't remember one incident like that when I was growing up my entire youth in New York. Never 3 in one day.
That's a.
Look at that.
I don't know. The first time I'm hearing about it. Oh, you think really? Well, they were senior citizens on fixed incomes?
I didn't get details about them other than I looked at their ages and they were, when I say senior, they were like over 60.
Well, you know what my guess would be, Steve? I'll tell you what my guess would be. I'll tell you. Well, if they're senior citizens on a fixed income, they can't afford to live with the Biden inflation. And life has probably been tough for people that are on fixed incomes on Social Security during the Biden inflation, and he doesn't care, especially if you're a senior alone living on Social Security. I don't know. I don't have any information. Just the little bits you gave. Let's take some. It's sad. Yeah. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is Tony from Boston. Brian.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Steve. Long time no hear from you. Good morning. And you and Brian as well. How are you guys?
Excellent.
I just called in, Brian, to chime in on that Chicago thing. The highlight of that is there was a mass shooting. 9 women were shot.
Wow.
And 1 killed at a birthday party.
Oh, my goodness. So of the 59, was it one incident and they were women?
In ages from 20 to 31, and it was reported that a group of guys pulled up to the birthday party and jumped out of a car and sprayed them. 9 women. But I tuned into the radio station over there, the black radio station, and it's sickening to listen to that station. And I tuned in to see how much airtime they would give. And this was actually on Sunday, because they have a couple of shows that come on Sunday. They didn't even mention it. And then on Monday, of course, they didn't mention it. Only one show did, but they only spent about.
Now, why do you think that is?
No political mileage, can't exploit it. You remember when the 84-year-old guy shot? Oh, I'm sorry. The most recent was the woman in Tampa that northern Florida there somewhere, where the white woman and the black woman with the kids were feuding for over the last 2 years, and the lady shot through the door. The woman, yeah, that. Okay, so that particular incident, they talked about that for almost a week at that same station in Chicago. They can't get any political.
See, here's the thing. Okay, they know the shooters are black, so that's why, you know, that's why, and it's a sad thing. The reason there are not shootings like at that level, like 50 over a weekend, and like my neighborhood, is because people in my neighborhood wouldn't put up with it. We would. The reason there's like this drive-by, they are confident in knowing that everybody knows who did the shooting, but no one's going to rat them out. So they go and do these things. The people there know who the murderers were. I promise you.
Of course, but in addition to the bottom line is, in Black America, as you guys very well know, they're programmed, not me of course, but they're programmed and conditioned to ignore black folks and whatever tragedies, and to respond and react to those situations, such as when it's a white person involving a black. And one last thing I want to say to you guys. We had the George Junkie Floyd reaction when that situation happened, which was no big deal to me. But the Tyrese Nichols, the guy in Memphis that was killed.
Yeah.
And I recently was speaking with friends about that case, and I brought the name up, and they asked me, "Who is that?" I said, "You remember George Floyd?"
See, you know what it is? Black Lives Matter only care about black lives that are lost at the hands of white people. If they're lost, if they're black lives taken by other blacks, they don't care. Black Lives Matter.
Organization, Black Lives Don't Matter.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no value in those lives.
Well, they can't raise money. They can't raise money off of those lives.
There's no value. They can't get a voter.
But that's not true. I listen. If Black Lives Matter were legit, they got a lot of money. Black Lives Matter. Seen those mansions? Oh boy. If this is what you do. This is if I had the resources that Black Lives Matter has, which is incredible financial resources. This mass shooting you're talking about, the 9 ladies or women at the party, I'd go to Chicago, and I'd offer a $1 million reward for information leading to the arrest of and convictions of the shooters. To whoever comes forward first, we'd have the shooters in 20 minutes. You know?
I'll be leaving Massachusetts on August 4th at 6 p.m., and I'll be in Florida for 15 days thereafter.
All right.
Welcome party.
Yeah, that's right. All right, take care. Appreciate it. All right, he's escaping. He's escaping. You're on the. Yeah. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Deerfield.
Hey, Brian. How are you guys doing today? I don't know if you saw that. I saw the man on the ground report. I think it was Curtis Sliwa. Remember, he ran for mayor of New York, and he was showing what it's like on the ground in New York City now. It's a disaster. I think even this current mayor, who's a complete moron, is getting very worried too. You know, with the heat index the way it is, I'm not sure we're not going to have major riots in our major cities now just because of the heat and the situation on the ground.
Well, what did you see in New York? I mean, what was he showing?
The amount of people just kind of sitting around on the sidewalks, walking around, waving fans, trying to keep themselves a bit.
Well, you know what to me. I won't go to New York. I mean, I'm just a tourist in New York. I don't know my way around enough to go there safely. But here's what's most frightening about the crime in New York. They know that there are high-definition 4K cameras everywhere, and they do the crime in front, knowing they're going to be caught on a camera. They do the crime still. They are fearless of the cameras, even though they know that crime will be recorded in perfect high-definition 4K. And that means nowhere is safe. That's scary. Why are the criminals not afraid of that? I would be if I were a criminal, but you know.
Well, you wonder how people even get to work in the morning now on the subways and that. I mean, it really looks like a dangerous situation down there.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of angry people. As when this continues to progress throughout this summer with this heat index we got, you're going to see a lot of angry people roaming around the cities with nothing to do and no money, no food, no anything.
And no air. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it is. All right, take care, man. Yeah, go ahead. Last word.
Well, on this Comer thing, I'm hoping he just had a low energy day at the end of the day, and this isn't starting to unravel a little bit. Because if we don't get a good outcome from this trial again, I think we're talking.
Well, see, okay, the reason I'm reading so much into his tone with that, I really hope so, is because of what the regime did trying to put Archer in prison over the weekend. Though you put those two things together, and it makes me nervous. Okay, and I want to be wrong. I do not want to be right.
I think the survival of the republic is riding on this to have a good outcome. So I hope Comer can battle through this and get a good conviction. Did you say $40 million is also changed from the?
Okay, the wife of the mayor of Moscow, he's no longer the mayor. He's passed away. While he was mayor, the wife gave Hunter the $3.5 million. Now, through Devin Archer, we find out that after she met with Joe Biden, she gave another $40 million to some real estate investment company of Hunter's.
But we've heard about this lady before because
the $3.5 million I knew about, but not the
Hunter diamonds that was worth a couple $1 million.
But the $40 million I did not know about, and that was from Devin Archer.
Well, we look at all the compensation this guy. We're going to be looking over $100 million of this.
Just from this, yeah. Well, here's the thing. So just with this one woman, we've got $45 million to Joe Biden. And while this war is on in Ukraine, and there were sanctions not just on Russia, but on individual billionaires, she does not. Biden has exempted her from sanctions. All those Russian billionaires that are sanctioned, the one that gave him the $45 million, no sanctions for her.
Watching the media yesterday when the results of this secret meeting became public.
Yeah, off and on I was, yes. Of course, we're not going to highlight anything.
Were you excited, or satisfied, or were you frustrated, or what was your reaction?
Reaction is mostly concern. I just, these people on the other side, they're just not going to give up on this. They're going to do anything they can. Like you said, trying to get this guy to not even testify for 2 days on the weekend.
It's not working. Do you really think people believe with what's come out now? I was very happy with the hearings. I thought the guy was going to recant everything, and he didn't. He basically
he didn't. Did you see him going into the court? He looked very confident. This guy, very relaxed, I thought. And I think Bob Walensky's coming in today.
Well, listen, we got to run for our last break, but thanks for the call. We'll be right back.
Cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Business owner or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to employ a public adjuster or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation West Del Rey, and hormone replacement pellet therapy. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is all natural. What it does is restore your hormones to where they were when you were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back, and women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings gone, night sweats sweats? Gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet them, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet them again after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back, just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger. Now, it's always a free consultation with Dr. Matez when you tell him you heard about him on the radio. 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours in one of those big labs. That's why I go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next day in my email box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, and you're going to get the Amateur Gold Report today. Steve, William Youngerman will not be with us today, and the Amateur Gold Report is me going to williamyoungerman.com and reading you the numbers. But I just want to say this as an introduction. William Youngerman has been with us for many, many years, and I'm going to give you the prices in a moment, and pay very careful attention, in particular to gold. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I felt like Albert Brooks in This Is Your Life, okay, in this instant, when I think back on this. If you've seen that movie, you'll get this reference. So Steve and I, the first time we went with William Youngerman about, and he, was going to come on the show with the gold report and everything else. And I remember gold was $435 an ounce. $435 an ounce is when William Youngerman first started with us. And I remember you, Steve, you telling me, yeah, Brian, you need to buy some gold. And I said, Steve, gold has been around for 5,000 years. It's $435 an ounce. That's great, but how much higher can it go after 5,000 years? Well, gold was $435 on that day. Today, even though it's down $19.30, gold is at $1,947.20. Oh, my goodness. What a dope I was, Steve, right? Silver's down 56 cents at $24.27, and platinum down $24 at $938. William Youngerman has been in business since 1967. Yeah, that's right, and he's located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. The moral of this story is the metals are where it's at, okay, guys? And I don't give financial advice or advice on anything in particular because of that moment in my life. But the gold is on sale today at these incredible prices. You can also find William Youngerman online at williamyoungerman.com or give him a call. Again, he opens up at 10 a.m., 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Maddie from Sunrise.
Hey, Maddie.
Oh, hi, Steve. Listen, I disagree with Brian. I really don't want Biden impeached because if he's impeached, a lot of people are going to feel sorry for him. And he's doing so badly. I want him to run against Trump. I don't want him to
relate to that. I agree with that.
I mean, you see, he's so far ahead of Biden. Why do we want Biden to quit? I don't want him to.
You're the second person to call me with. Somebody called on Friday's show that said an impeachment's a terrible thing because the Democrats will circle the wagons. And that's a very good point.
And listen, and the other thing, Brian, is we don't really know what Trump wants. It's really what Trump wants. I'll bet Trump, he certainly knows he can beat Biden. Maybe he doesn't really want him impeached. because he knows people will feel sorry for him. So it's really not been a bad day. I mean, Biden keeps going down. It's okay.
You know, let me ask you a question here, and don't get offended by this, but and the questions are, how old are you?
I'm 82.
You're okay.
103. She just passed away.
Yeah, okay.
Let me tell you, she was a big Trump fan.
Well, good for her. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, so, let me. I wanted to, because I know I can tell by your voice. You're elder. No. It's relevant to the question. I watched Ron DeSantis on the Bret Baier interview from last night, and anytime I see an interview with Ron DeSantis, they keep talking about how old Donald Trump is, and then they compare him to Feinstein, Mitch McConnell, who had a stroke the other day, and Biden, and I really, I get put off when I hear Ron DeSantis do this Logan's Run thing that, well, he's younger, they're older, so he should be running things. I find that really offensive. On top of comparing, it's not the number, it's how with it or out of it they are. And to compare Trump to Feinstein, McConnell, and Biden is absurd on the face of it. But this campaign that he's running is that Donald Trump is too old to be president. What are your thoughts on that, caller?
God, Donald Trump acts so young, and his brain is so great. He doesn't forget a thing. He's wonderful. I'm telling you, he's better than a 16-year-old. That guy, there's a lot of people. My mother was 103. She had her faculties. I mean, she was old, but let me just tell you, it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be young. You could be.
Well, you know what? You look at Ron DeSantis, and what I see with Ron DeSantis is not in his numerical age, but in his personality, a lot of immaturity. That's why he blew so many opportunities of being president in 2028, because he's immature and impatient.
He's immature and impatient, but yet he acts old. He looks to me like an old man.
Yeah.
Comes out there, he can barely speak, no personality. I agree with you. Pat lines, like a stump speech. I mean, come on, have some personality.
Remember when was it Mondale that Reagan was talking to? He said, "If I won't hold my opponent's youth and immaturity against him," when they were, yeah. Oh my Lord, yeah.
Don't feel badly. We're going to win. Don't feel badly if he's not impeached. We're going to move ourselves forward like we always do, and that's the way it's going to be.
All right, take care. Appreciate the call. Yeah.
Set that conversation that is important enough to really focus on. I don't want Biden. I want Biden as the opponent.
Yeah.
I see that as God's greatest.
Not Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris.
Well, it's close.
Yeah. No, listen. There's something to be said about what the last caller said. Okay, and again, I got a call on Friday about this. To impeach Biden, the Democrats would definitely start to circle much like we do every time they come in with an indictment. So it is possible, and probably maybe likely, Steve, that Trump has told McCarthy, don't impeach him. Look at how popular I'm getting after these indictments. Let's not do that to Joe. That's very possible.
Remember, impeaching is not the same as removing.
No one's ever been removed after an impeachment, not a president.
So it's not that we automatically lose Biden if he is impeached. It just means that he just goes through some.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably reading too much into Comer. Hopefully I am. I'll tell myself I am just to get through the day. But I was just really not happy. Did you see the interview with DeSantis and Bret Baier?
No.
Oh, Steve, I made a big mistake. I was talking about this at the top of the show. Well, no, that would have been interesting. I didn't watch the interview last night. I watched it this morning before I left the house. and it was a big mistake because the interview with Bret Baier was so boring with Ron DeSantis, who was that vacuous. It was like putting me to sleep while I'm trying to wake up to come here and do a radio show. It was terminal. He said nothing. Let me tell you how bad it is. How bad it is. In particular, I watched it so I could find maybe 1 or 2 or 3 sound bites to play so we could talk about it. I couldn't even find an interesting sound bite out of it. What? Bruce passed away? No. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I wish people would not give me messages when we're on the air, Steve. I've been getting, boy, oh boy. Well, listen, guys. I think maybe I'm right. If we're lucky, I'm reading too much into Comer. But see, Steve, Comer is such a fighter. If he's been compromised, that would be like a dagger. A dagger. But that last caller who said that maybe they're walking back the impeachment because they don't want to help him, that makes more sense than anything. 10 seconds, Steve. Yeah. Well, listen, that's it for us today, Steve. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless Donald Trump. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown.
What happened with Bruce? Where does Bruce live, guys? Where does Bruce live? Can someone tell me the answer to that? Where does Bruce live? Can you let me know? Does anyone know before I sign off? Bruce. Someone, okay. Who's the wise guy? Who is the wise guy? See, I read the chat. All right. Whoever said that, I'm going to go back and see who said that. All right, I'll see you later.